All right, we shouldn't be on here too long because, as everybody knows, whenever I talk about something political, the number of people that come to check it out are cut in half. Um, I guess basically I was looking to see if what the, I guess, regular attendance of the channel thought was the most interesting cabinet position. So just the office, aside from the presidency, that was at the executive branch, which you felt the most, entertaining to watch or to see or to think about. Um, I'd probably say the EPA, even though it's not a cabinet position, it still counts as part of the executive branch. Is the one I want to pay attention to the most because currently, the new rule that Trump has in place is that for every regulation that gets added, you cut two off, and I think that first of all, that's a very destructive rule because it's basically saying, hey, we don't care what the contents of the regulations are. Just by them being regulations, we're going to mess with them. And also, it's being ran by a climate change denier in the form of Wheeler, who we've discussed on here a little bit in the past, but I still do want to see what he does. I'd say the one office that Trump had, or rather had a secretary in that I actually had some kind of slightly high opinion on was his defense secretary Mattis, who, if anyone remembers, was the first of Trump's cabinet members to get confirmed. And that was mainly because even though I didn't agree with him on, for example, staying in Syria, because all of these generals like to stay in wars for forever. That was something that Obama had with his own, um, you know, generals that were involved in his cabinet. But even though I didn't agree with him on that, I still like the fact that he read the Iran deal and said, hey, this is actually something worth keeping. And spoke about wanting to address climate change. Those are two views that really are out of the orthodoxy with other members of the cabinet. And he seemed to me to be the one person who, aside from maybe the UN ambassador, was actually qualified for their position. Like, we had a whole controversy about various cabinet members, like the first Secretary of State, buying their position from being Republican Party donors. But he was the only person on there who, genuinely seemed to have an understanding of his position and not want to blow it up. Like the same way that the Education Secretary DeVos, for example, here's a person who buys her position by giving, hundreds of thousands of dollars to Republican candidates over the years. Is not known to have been any major education official before this, and then wants to gut all the rules and regulations over there. So, if anyone has anything to say, we can cut this off early. I guess what I wanted to also do is, if we are able to get some consensus here, people saying, I want to hear about this office, I would look more into, not only the person currently holding it, but also the people who have held it in the past, just to kind of see how it fluctuates administration to administration. So thank you for watching. Have a good day.